I have a question. White Vision escaped at the end of WandaVision. Technically, Vision is Stark Tech. Technically, White Vision is stolen Stark Tech. Do you think that White Vision will show up in the new Armor Wars property? Hmm. Hello, true believers. Welcome to my channel, Mr. Miracle Comics. My name is Dave, and today we have 5 more undervalued comic books for us to take a look at. Actually, today we're going to end up with 8 in total. So, I kind of grouped 3 together as one of my picks just because they're really related to one another. And then I'm going to have a bonus pick at the very end of this video. It's going to be a bonus pick because there's spoilers contained for today's Falcon and Winter Soldier episode. So if you haven't seen that and you're not interested in seeing a spoiler, stop at the first 5. And then I'm going to have one extra pick at the end that has something to do with today's episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And they all kind of tie together with the last pick. So if you're not interested in spoilers, like I said, just stop at the 5. I'll give a warning and everybody can do it. All right. But we do have a really good show. I think I've got some good picks for us here this week. And, let's get started with them. We'll get right into it. So we had Godzilla vs. Kong come out, right? I'm a big kaiju fan. Love all of that kind of, giant monster stuff. And one of the monsters in there was, of course, Mechagodzilla. They fought Mechagodzilla, and, it took me a while to find out his first appearance in comic books, but he actually does have a first appearance, and it happens here in this book from 1994, and it is Sentai #1. All right, so this is the first Mechagodzilla in comics. This had an extremely low print run of only 5,000. This is a really nice mint copy that I got for $5. Okay, I've seen some other prices on eBay. It goes for around $20. Sometimes people are asking for it, but you could still sneak a copy in there under the $10 mark. Like I said, extremely low print run on this of only 5,000. Mechagodzilla is, one of those characters that, regardless of his status at the end of Godzilla vs. Kong, he can always be rebuilt. You're going to get Mechagodzilla 2.0, that kind of thing going on. He's one of those big monsters that are really great on the big screen, can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Godzilla vs. Kong was a big hit in terms of, a pandemic release, a movie that came out during the pandemic. It was one of the biggest openings they've had in a while. So look to see another kaiju movie coming out, more in the MonsterVerse. And could Mechagodzilla make a reappearance? Heck yeah, right? Like I said, he's one of those characters you just got to be rebuilt, right? And version 2.0 comes out. So, like I said, tough. It was kind of tough for me to dig around, find out exactly where his first appearance was, but it appears here in Sentai #1 from 1984. Look to pay somewhere around $5 to $20 for a copy of that guy. All right, so we've also had the second Suicide Squad trailer come out, and they showed a little bit more of the characters and whatnot. And one of the characters was the Thinker, right? And everybody jumped around and went and bought Clifford DeVoe, the original Thinker's first Golden Age appearance, and never really looked at the character or had a lot of comic knowledge other than going on Key Collector, typing in the Thinker, and going and finding his first appearance. However, the Thinker that is that Thinker, as opposed to the Thinker that is in the Suicide Squad trailer, are different characters. So let's take a look at the original Thinker. Let's take a look at the Thinker that exists now. And let's take a look at the character in the trailer. Which character do you think he is, right? So the Thinker that appears in the trailer, his first appearance shows up here in 2013's Suicide Squad #24. All right. So this book can be found For cover price, maybe double cover price for a mint condition copy of this thing. That's raw, of course. And let me just take a look, and I'll show you the picture we had. I should have had this prepped up. Anyways, so specifically, here he is in the comic book, number 24. For some reason on Wikipedia, that picture is listed as an image from 25, but it's not. It's obviously here in 24. So the thinker that's in the Suicide Squad movie, James Gunn specifically said, like, the thinker is supposed to be the villain in the next Flash season, right? And James Gunn specifically said they're different characters and wouldn't name the character, right? So this is the unnamed thinker. He creates like this big weapon that could possibly destroy a whole. Anyway, in his storyline, it very much aligns with the Suicide Squad. His first appearance is in the Suicide Squad. It's obvious to me that he has, that James Gunn has picked this character, not the original thinker, to be in his movie. Um, this one has gone completely under the radar for people. I said it's not even listed properly on Wikipedia where his first appearance is. Key Collector, I don't know if they even have it up on Key Collector. But yeah, look to pay cover price or even double for this. And that's like a brand new movie spec that can easily be found for cheap, cheap, cheap. All right, so from 2013, Suicide Squad number 24 looked for the appearance of the fourth thinker, but the thinker that's in the Suicide Squad movie, and looked to pay cover price or double for that guy. Okay, so there's been big news in the Robotech thing. Apparently, there's been an agreement, a contract that's actually been signed about some live action stuff. They've even gone to the point of bringing Andy Mancini into Harmony Gold's offices to talk about Robotech, apparently. Um, So that could mean a live action film is soon on the horizon for Robotech, which would be utterly amazing. Part of the deal that was signed also gives them more license to release Robotech and do new Robotech properties animation wise and stuff. Like they said, there was all kinds of fighting for years and years and years over Robotech and who owned the property. Harmony Gold or a company in Japan that also had the rights to Macross. But that's all been worked out, and now deals have been signed for a live action movie. Whoa, right? So look, this book we spec'd on before, but let's bring it up again because this book could take a significant jump, and it's from 1984, and it's a Macross number one, right? First appearance of Robotech in American comics. Um, this one has on CGC, or not CGC, on the Overstreet Price Guide, it has a quotation of low print run. What that exactly means, I don't know. I couldn't find the exact print run of this book. It is an 80s book, so what does low print run mean in terms of an 80s book? Is that 5,000? Is that 30,000? It's unknown right now, but I don't see a lot of these books on CGC. I went and took a look, and there was only 51 at 9.8, so that's pretty significantly low. Um, yeah, if they announce any kind of Robotech live action movie, deal has been signed, or there's a script in development or anything like that, look to this book to take a significant jump. And if it is as low print run as we've seen, there may not be all that many to go around, which will make the price increase rather quickly. This is the point now when you should buy this book before it becomes really on other people on the radar, right? It has popped up a little bit since the last time we spec'd on it, but not that significantly, and I still think it's an affordable buy. I was looking on eBay today, and prices range anywhere from $40 to $100 for this guy, depending on the grade that you're going to buy. Of course, that's on slab, which is a significant rise since the first time we spec'd on it, but still has a lot of potential to this book. Based solely, of course, if they're going to do a live action Robotech, which it sounds to me like they are. Like, a lot of these guys are trying to revamp these old properties, bring back a lot of that nostalgia, and this book could definitely see a jump. So if you know where there's a copy at your LCS, or you want to cruise on eBay and keep an eye open for this guy. I think right now it's still pretty reasonable price and has a lot of potential to it. So from 1984, Kamiko, it's a Kamiko comic. Look to pay somewhere around $40 to $100 for a copy of this book right now. But yeah, I could definitely see a significant price rise. Okay. So like we were saying, nostalgia is king in Hollywood right now. Bringing back as much stuff, rebooting stuff, continuing stuff that ended in the 80s, Cobra Kai, for example, that kind of thing. One of those properties that I think has a little bit of potential out there is this book, and it came out in 1980, and it is The Blackhole, #1. So at the time when this book came out, of course, everybody was scrambling because Star Wars was such a huge hit and phenomenon, right? Nobody had ever seen any movie do what Star Wars did, let alone a sci-fi movie, right? So movie companies were out there scrambling to find their Star Wars, right? That's when we ended up with like the terrible Dune movie and, you know, all like different little movies that happen out there, you know, trying to capture that Star Wars magic. This book, of course, this movie, of course, came out in 1979. This book was released shortly afterwards as a, you know, to help promote the movie. Um, at the time, it was the most expensive movie Disney had ever put any money into, right? They put $35 million into the budget of this movie. It was also the first time Disney ever had a PG movie brought out, right? Before that time, it was always kept as G-rated movies, right? They were doing a lot of cartoons, Snow White and Pinocchio and Jungle Book. Their live-action movies were, you know, very family-orientated. Freaky Friday or, you know, Witch Mountain and that kind of stuff that was always out on there. Um, this movie, you know, they were hoping for a big hit. It was a mediocre hit at best. Um, I remember being 7 years old and watching it and thinking it was super awesome. Of course, that's through my 7-year-old eyes. Later on, as an adult, I watched it again. And I was like, well, maybe it's not as good as I remembered it. It did have some really great moments, some really great characters that were in there, and I still think, you know, this could be rebooted into, you know, much like they did with Lost in Space, into some sort of streaming show that gets put onto the Disney Channel. They're going to be hurting for content. I mean, it's not just Marvel and Star Wars that they're going to do. They need other content around a lot of stuff, right? So I think rebooting some of their 80s properties, and there's a very good chance that this one might be one of the ones that they could tap. If they're, I'm sure just based on nostalgia alone, they have script writers that are handing in, oh, let's do a black hole, a black hole, a black hole. And they may have passed on all of those right now, but pretty soon, or, you know, sooner or later, they're going to have something that comes across their desk that they like, and they want to put some production money behind and produce, you know, a first season. And I think, or, you know, maybe they do a movie. Who knows? I think this one has a lot of potential, especially at how cheap it is right now. You can get this book anywhere from the $5 to $25 range. This is a really nice copy that I got. It does have like this grocery store sticker on there, but that's okay. We can that's an easy thing to remove without any damage or restoration to the comic book. It does have a spine tick here, but other than that, it's pretty clean, pretty nice. Maybe a little bit of blunting on the corners, but for $20, I thought it was a deal. Especially, you know, this one I'm going to keep in my back pocket just in case that nostalgia, you know, grabs Disney and they decide to reboot their Black Hole property. All right, so from 1980, it is The Black Hole, #1 from Whitman Comics. Look to pay somewhere between $5 and $25 for that. I don't know if we've ever had. Oh yeah, we did Star Trek #1, so we did have one Whitman comic before that one. Okay, so big Wolverine news coming out, right? Big leak, very credible leak, and a few other things that happened that make me think that leak is really, really credible. Wolverine, right? We've all been waiting for him. And the leak is that they're going to bring Wolverine out first. Now, they're not going to connect him right away to the X-Men. And they're not going to connect him right away to the MCU as a large, right? So what the rumor is that 2 streaming shows will come out. right? And the first streaming show that's going to come out is Wolverine in Madripoor, right? And the first time we see Wolverine in Madripoor comes from this book in 1988. It's Marvel Comics Presents #1. Okay, so this is that whole storyline that starts out Wolverine in Madripoor. What also makes me think about this is that we saw Madripoor in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's obviously setting up for something significant that's going to happen in this area of the world, right? They're world building, right? So things start to progress. We know that now that we've seen it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we know that Madripoor is a dangerous place full of criminals, bit of an underworld, somewhere in Asia. They've established this in their world. They didn't spend a whole lot of time in Madripoor. They just touched there just to establish that it exists. Wolverine showing up in Madripoor, and they're going to do the whole Patch storyline. So Patch first appears in this one from 1988 as well, but November of 1988. This is September of 1988. This is November of 1988, which is Wolverine #1. If they announce a streaming show based on Patch, this is Patch's first appearance, or Wolverine as Patch in his first appearance. Look to see this book take a significant rise as people rush to it, and the whole Madripoor storyline with him. And all of this happened pre-X-Men. So now you bring in your character, you have an established world, you get everybody used to him and liking him and having a connection to him, then you put him in your X-Men movie. Now people already have a connection to your big property that's going to show up, and you're not trying to introduce 5 or 6 unknown characters to the audience, right? We've already had this big connection to Wolverine. We know the X-Men are coming, yada, yada, yada. You don't leave your big moneymaker in your back pocket, which is also making me think that's true, right? You're going to want to bring Wolverine out. Maybe you're not ready to stick in the X-Men. So you start with Wolverine in sort of his own property, pre-MCU stuff, right? Madripoor. If that happens, like I said, look to see both of these books. Now I know you've probably seen this book in the dollar bin 100 times. I know I have, and I passed by it, but I'm going to be grabbing up any copy I see now of this book for sure. You can get yourself a copy of Marvel Comics Presents #1 from Wolverine for anywhere from $1 to about $10 for this book. It has a lot lower print run than this. It's not super low print run because it is a Wolverine book and a #1. And you can find this book, current prices, kind of sitting around, for a decent copy, $50-$60 is what you're going to pay for a decent copy of Wolverine #1. You can see I bought that one off eBay. I did buy this one quite a while ago for about $25-$30. I'd have to go back and look at what I paid for that one. But so prices have already risen on this book a little bit. But if the whole Patch storyline rumor turns out to be true, this book should see quite a big jump, right? And this one as well, right? First appearance of Wolverine in the whole Madripoor storyline. All right, so the second streaming show rumor that was there, right? I said there's 2 streaming shows that were rumored to come out, and the second one, again, is not connected to MCU as the greater. It may be in slight ways, but it's more of an anthology show. Okay, so it's going to have a Wolverine story. It'll kind of reset at the end of that episode, and there'll be another episode, right, next week that doesn't necessarily relate to last week's episode in a continuing story. We'll probably have different directors, different writers for each episode. This is a good way to do things too, right? You want to try out a few directors who want a chance at an MCU property. You can tell some significantly odd stories about Wolverine without really ruining the continuity of anything in the greater Marvel whole. And if they do that anthology show, you can guarantee that they are going to do this story, right? So we spec'd on this book a long time ago when it was cheap. It still has some room to grow. If that anthology story goes off, they will show in the trailer a picture of Weapon X, or Weapon 10, but Weapon X, and this book will go crazy, right? The moment they see Wolverine in that Weapon X facility, or dressed up as Weapon X with all the tubes and whatnot, Yeah, this book comes from 1991, and it is Marvel Comics Presents number 72. Current prices for this book in a near mint copy is going to cost you around $20 to $30. But look to see this book take a significant spike if we see any kind of trailer with a Weapon 10, Weapon X picture in it, right? With Wolverine, once we have Wolverine established somehow and this anthology comes out, it could be pretty significant. Anyway, so yeah, from 1991, looked again to pay around the $20 to $30 for Marvel Comics Presents number 72, first appearance of Weapon X. Whew, so that was a lot of books. That was a lot for $5. Anyway, hopefully you found some stuff there. If you feel like it, stick around. We're going to have our bonus book. You said the bonus book is going to have some some spoilers in it from today's episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, continue to watch at your own. Continue to watch if you feel like it and you're not worried about seeing a spoiler if you've already seen today's episode or you just don't care. Anyways, I'm just gonna wait. All right, there we go. That's enough warning. It's enough waiting time. So at the end or during the Captain America Falcon. Julie Louise-Dreyfus showed up, right? She is Contessa de Fontaine, who, she has her first appearance in the Silver Age. She becomes like a love interest of Nick Fury. She goes on to become Madam Hydra, like becomes a double agent, becomes Madam Hydra, and then continues on in her character arc. I think we've seen a lot of what happened with Hydra, right? With Captain Captain America the Winter Soldier, Captain America and Bucky really struck a blow to Hydra, weeded out a lot of their operatives. Things significantly changed for Hydra after that. All of these characters, I think, they must have gone somewhere. They didn't find every Hydra agent, they didn't find every Hydra person, right? So these characters must have gone off somewhere. Madam Hydra ended up going to Madripoor, right? She becomes a character called Viper, right? So her first appearance as Viper is here from 1974. It's Captain America number 180. This also has the first appearance of Captain America's Nomad. That's less significant in my opinion than her becoming Viper. So Viper becomes basically the super crime lord of Madripoor, and has significant stuff to do with Wolverine being in Madripoor. You see how this rumor, Madripoor being in the Falcon Winter Soldier, now we have Viper being in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We know, she's contacting different people. She's contacting Sharon Carter, who is in Madripoor as something. She becomes Viper. People are looking at Contessa, and I guess, having Contessa's first appearance is fine and good, but I think this one is kind of going under the radar, not being realized that this is where she becomes Viper, and it's Viper who becomes, the leader of Madripoor. So I think they're going to gloss over that whole Madam Hydra part, maybe hark back a little bit to, yeah, she was a Hydra agent when Captain America and the Winter Soldier movie happened. She went into hiding, right, not to get caught, ended up in Madripoor, established herself as Viper and the leader of that, still going on as a double agent later with stuff where she approached John Walker. She likes the evil stuff, right? She knows that she can probably turn John Walker over to her side of things, right? So I think they'll really gloss over the Madam Hydra part, the whole Nick Fury love interest part, and Julia Louise-Dreyfus will probably play a more significant role in any kind of Wolverine property. I mean, Marvel has said that they have big plans for her. That was written in Variety, right? So Marvel said they have continuing big plans for Julia Louise-Dreyfus, such a great actress to have in the role. And I think that she's just going to gloss over the whole Madam Hydra part, become Viper, take over, show herself as leader of Madripoor, as the whole thing. Sharon Carter, in my opinion, is going to be the power broker working for Viper on Madripoor. And yeah, first time that Contessa becomes Viper is here. Captain America, number 180 from 1974. Now, this book is still flying under the radar. I said you can find a really nice copy of this book still for the $20 to $30 range, plus shipping off eBay, for a 1974 book. A little bit of spec happened on it because of the Nomad, but really the spec should be happening on this because of Viper. Okay, so from 1974, Captain America number 180, Contessa De Fontaine becomes Viper, and who becomes the crime lord of Madripoor. All right, so that's been our 5/8 comic books for this week to go and take a look at. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. I think it was a good show today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out if you do. I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers. And yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks with another 5 undervalued videos. Thanks for watching. Oh, and a reminder, Wednesdays are new comic book days, but every day is old comic book day. This has been Mr. Miracle Comics. My name is Dave. I'll see you next time.